Hello everyone, happy Monday. I hope that your week is starting off well. I have got a Cricut Monday to share with you, and today I'm going to be creating a pocket for library cards. So I'm going to be using this Love Notes stamp set. This is from a very old collection. There are other stamps out there like this, but this is the one that I have, so it's the one that I'm going to use. And I will go ahead and include, as I'm putting this together, sort of the base of the card to slide into the pocket. So if you have a different stamp, you may want to adjust your sizes, but I think you should be able to do that fairly easily depending on which set you're going to use. So this is a quick look at the set. If I'm able to find this anywhere, I will link it for you below, but as I mentioned, it's very old, so I don't think there's going to be a ton of these left out there. It just comes with the base of the card, some sentiments, a tape, heart, and 2 arrows. So let's go ahead and hop over to Design Space, and I will talk you through how I created this. Alright, so here we are on the home page. So I have already started and got a file saved for this. You will want to click New Project, but I'm going to just open this one up since I already have it saved. And I will hit Customize because there is actually nothing in it at the moment. So the first thing I'm going to do is pull in some images. So I'm going to go over here to where it says Images, and I will click on that. And then up here under search, this square that I'm using is slightly difficult to find. I don't know why it's not pulling it up by the number, but here is the way to find it. You will type in Traveling Together. And then you'll see after you hit enter or search, you're going to get a whole bunch of stuff. So to narrow this down a little bit more, you can go to Cartridges right here. I'm going to click on Cartridges. And then you're going to scroll all the way to the bottom and you'll see this one that says Traveling Together Image Set. I'm going to click on that. And then right here is the square that I'm using. It is number MB8192. And I did try searching just under that number. I tried searching under square stamp, and for some reason it was not bringing this up for me. So this is the way to find it. All of this information, however, will work best for you. So you'll see it does have the A that it is, if you have access, you'll be able to use this no problem. I actually purchased this from before I had access, so that's why it says purchase down here instead of subscribed. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this, and then I will click Insert Images. That is the only one we need to pull in from the image gallery. But we are going to use 2 of these. So since this is already highlighted, I'm going to go over here and click Duplicate. So I will have my second one. And then the last image we're going to need is going to be just from the shape section. So I'm going to click on Shapes and Square. Okay, great. So this square is going to be our library card. Now you could use a curved edge for this one as well if you wanted to. For me, since my stamp has a straight edge, I'm going to go with this one. And I'm going to just start out by creating the card to stamp on first, and then we will sort of have the size that we know we need to make the pocket to fit, right? So I'm going to take my ruler here and I'm going to measure the stamp. So I'm actually going to pull it off here, and I'll take my ruler. This will probably be a little difficult for you to see, but I'm measuring it across at 2 1/4. And then up and down it is 3 3/8. So I'm going to add an 1/8 of an inch border on that. So for across, I'm going to make that 2 3/8. So I'm going to click this unlock button here. You could also click it here. You'll see that they change. It doesn't matter which one you click, they both change at the same time. So for my width, I'm going to make that 2 3/8, so that works out to 2.375. Whoops, I've got 2 decimals in there. My computer tends to do that for some reason. And then for my height, we said that was 3 1/2, so I'm going to make that 3 5/8. And let me just double check that. I think I might be slightly off. No, it was 3 3/8, so I'm gonna make that an even 3 1/2. And I'll click enter. Okay, great. So now we've got our library card and we know what we need to fit inside the pocket. Now let's take the 2 curved squares and we'll create the actual pocket that this is going to fit into. So now I've taken, I've previously done this, so I can hopefully just give you these measurements as I have them written down and they will work out. So again, I'm going to click this unlock button so that I can get my sizing in there. And for the top square, I'm going to make that 3.268. That is wide. Oops, now this time it didn't put the decimal in. Okay. And now for the height, that's going to be a little smaller than it is now. So we're going to make that 2.597. Okay, so that's going to be our top one, and I'm actually going to go ahead and change the color on this. I'm just going to make this white to make it a little bit easier to see. And then for our bottom or second square, the sizing on this, I'm going to again unlock that, and I will change my width to 2.671. And for the height, I'm going to make that 4.194. Whoops. Didn't take. 4.194. Enter. There we go. Okay. Now I'm going to take these 2 and line them up. And I want to line this up so that we don't have the 2 curves meeting. I want this to be straight across here because we're going to do a score line there. But I'm going to grab both of these together here. And I'm going to go ahead to align, and then I will click center horizontally. I just want to make sure I have that nice and centered. It was pretty close, but it did move over slightly there. So I'm going to weld these together, but before I do that, I want to double check to make sure that my sizing is going to work. So what I'm going for here is I'm going to have a flap on either side that's going to fold over, and then this back section is going to fold up, and that's going to create the front pocket and the back for the card to slide into. So I'm going to take my card and just check the sizing here. So that looks good there. And yeah, that looks good there. I think that's going to fit just fine. It should fit right inside the pocket there. Okay, so now I'm going to select these 2 squares, and I'm going to go over here and click the weld button, and that's going to turn that all into one image, and that way it'll all be one cut. The machine's going to see it as one piece of paper. Now we need to create our score lines. So I'm going to go over here to shapes, and I'm going to grab a score line, and I'm actually going to do 2 of those while I'm at it. So the first one I'm going to grab, and I'm going to line this up, and I'm leaving it kind of long here, and I'm going to place that right along the edge of this longer piece here. Now it's okay if the score line overlaps slightly, because that way you'll get a nice good score on it. I'm going to make this slightly smaller, but not too much there. So that way you've got it, that nice straight line that's going to be even with the flap as well as the back portion that's going to fold up. I'm going to do the same thing with this other one here, just lining that up right along with the opposite side here, and that's going to create our second flap. Again, I'm going to make it just slightly smaller. There we go. Okay, so actually I'm going to need one more score line. I'm going to grab one more of those, and then we've got a score for the back to fold up. So I'm going to go over here to rotate, and I'm just going to type in 90. That way I know I have that way I know that I have it straight up and down. Or straight across, sorry. And then I'm going to line this up again right along these edges here of that curve. So I know that's going to go straight across from one flap to the other. So this back portion here will fold up, these two will fold in and they'll attach together to create our pocket. Now the last thing I need to do here is attach my score lines to this base image. And I'm just gonna highlight all of those, and then down here I will click attach. So now they know to put the score lines on top of this image when everything cuts. So I'm gonna do a couple of these at a time. Here I'm just looking at like the rough size of what I'm gonna need. So 4 by 7, and that will be the complete pocket. So I'm gonna take my paper and I'm gonna trim that down. I'm using some paper from the Lucky Us collection by Paislee. I just did an unboxing of this and it's so cute. I just love it. So I'm going to take my trimmer, and I want to cut a few of these at a time. I think what I'm going to do here is cut several of the pockets, and then I will cut several of the cards. So for the pocket here, I'm going to need 4 by 7. So I'm going to take my pattern paper and I'm going to trim, I think I'll just do 7 inches off the bottom. And then I can trim this, again, just double checking my measurements here. I will trim off 2 pieces that are 4 by 4. And because this is double-sided, I will be able to get 2 out of 1 strip there. And I'm going to do this with a couple of these. So again, I will do 7 inches. And then because this maize paper is kind of, has a border to it, I'm going to just trim a little bit off the edge there. Go 4 by 7. And I'll do the same thing for this side, just flipping that. I'm going to use one of my blue mats. These are the light sticky mats. And before I put my paper down, I think I might be able to get 4 in 1 cut, but I'm going to double check my spacing. I might even be able to get a little more than that. So let's see here. I'm going to, for now, I'm going to take my card, my card that's going to go in the pocket, and I'm going to just hide that over here. I'm going to click this eye, and that way the machine won't see it as it's doing this cut. And I'm going to click save first, just to make sure I don't lose all this work that I've done. Okie dokie. And then I will click make it. Yeah, I think I can get 4 on 1 sheet. So I'm going to change this to 4, project copies 4, and click apply. And it will all fit. Wonderful. Okay, so I'm going to sort of center all of these in the middle of the 4. And the reason I'm doing that is mainly because of the one maze having an edge on the bottom of it. So I'm going to take this one all the way over because this will sort of center that in between these 4. I might even move that slightly, just like so. And then again, I'm going to center this middle one in between those 4, just using my grid lines to get it as centered as I can. I'm going to move this one slightly that way. Okay, so I'm happy with that. So now I'm going to place down my paper, and I'll have 3 across the top. I'm just going to line all of these up together, keeping them on the grids as best I can. And you do want to remember that the top portion is the pocket. So I want to have this going this way with my hearts flipping up like so. So I'm gonna line it up this way. It's almost an upside down pattern. And you know what? Actually, I think I'm gonna take this one as well and flip it over so that when my front pocket flips up, my chips, the numbers on my chips are gonna be facing the correct direction. I don't like the way that placed down. And now I'm going to place this one down right next to it. This pink is not going to matter so much. Okay. And then again, thinking about the placement for my maze, I know that the pocket that's going to flip up is going to be this way. Do I want it going that way? Do I want it going this way? Yeah, I want it going this way. So I'm going to put my paper down like so, just keeping in mind which way it's going to flip when it's finished. All right, so I've got these 4 on here ready to go. Okay, so I'm going to load in my mat here. I've added my scoring tool in because I know I'm going to need that. I'm going to click continue and go ahead and let my machine connect. Okay, it is connected. And this is really a medium cardstock. It's not too heavy, so I'm going to click that. And because I'm using, I want to hit edit tools because I'm using a scoring stylus instead of the wheel. So I will go ahead and click apply. My fine point blade is already in there. And I'm going to go ahead and click my go button. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and peel away the extra here and get these taken off my mat. And then we will get everything else cut out. Okay, so I'm going to click finish. And that's going to take me back to Design Space. I'm now going to have my square showing. So I'm just going to click this eye again. So I've got that out there. And then I'm going to click make it one more time. I'm again going to click to change this to 4. And then the nice thing about the new Design Space is that you can actually get rid of some of these. So I want to, actually I'm going to need 6 total. So let me click apply and get 6 of them. And then I should be able to fit all of this on one mat. So I'm going to hide selected, and I'll hide this one as well. I'm gonna again center this in those 4-inch sections. For my 6 pieces here, I should be able to fit these on that first mat. So again, with this second one, I'm gonna hide selected because I don't need those to cut. And then I'm gonna actually move all 6 of these. I don't know if it'll let me do all at one time. I don't think it will. No. So I'm gonna move this to another mat, and I'll just click 1 here. And I should be able to fit 2 along the side here in that 4-inch section there. And I'm just going to continue to move all of these to that first mat. And again, I will turn this one so that it fits in that 4-inch section there. And I will get the last 4 moved. And then I can pull this right down here. And we'll get all 4 of those placed there. Okay. So again, I'm going to get everything pressed into place onto my mat. Again, thinking about how my pocket is going to flip. It's not going to matter so much for this striped one here, so I'm just going to place that down. But for my hearts, I do want the pocket portion to be flipped this way. So I'm going to make sure that my hearts are facing that direction. And then I'm going to use some white paper for my library cards. So I'm actually going to grab, because I want to use a thinner card than my usual Nina, I'm going to grab a piece of the white from close to my heart. Just got to grab that from my stash. I should have been better prepared. And I'm going to pull out my trimmer again. And I'm going to trim off 1 4-inch section to go along the bottom. And another 4-inch section. And then I'll trim that down to 7. Just like the other pattern papers. And I'll have some more 4-inch pieces left if I want to make some more cards. Put that off to the side there. And I'll get these pressed into place. I'm going to add this one along the side. And I will add this one along the bottom. Again, I will go ahead and load in my mat. I'll click, oops, I don't want that selected. I'll click continue, let my machine connect. I'm going to click medium cardstock. Again, I will have to change this. I'm going to click edit tools and select my scoring stylus. Click apply. Now my tools are all correct, and I will click my go button. Okay, again, I'm going to peel away the extra. Okay, so let's go ahead and get our pockets put together. I'm going to take my scissors here and just slightly trim up a few of these cards. I'm going to have to check my blade. It might be time for a new one. But also this is just slightly thicker cardstock, so that could be the issue as well. It might have really wanted the heavier setting, and I had it on medium. Looks good. That one looks good. Okay. So to put the pockets together, the only thing you're going to need is some 1/4-inch score tape. And I'm first going to go ahead and fold all of these on the score line. So we're just going to fold in for both of the tabs, and then you'll fold up at the bottom. And I'm just going to take my bone folder and just score that. Make sure it's nice and smooth. And then here you'll see how the card slides right down in there. So perfect fit. So I'm going to go ahead and get all of these scored. Or folded on the score lines. They are already scored. And I'll just sort of do these assembly line. So I'm going to take my score tape. I'm going to use my block so I can get a nice clean edge when I place this down. And I'll find my edge here. Just going to run this down both edges of the flap. So I'm starting, there's that curve there, so I'm not starting right at the edge, but I'm just going to go as far as I can up to that next curve, and then I'll tear that and I'll do the same thing on the opposite edge. Just running that right along the score line there. I'm going to do that for all 6 of these. Okay, so I'm going to make sure these are down nice and tight. And then I'll go ahead and peel away the backing on both of them. And I'll fold them in and fold up the bottom. And there we have our pocket. That one's slightly off center. I suppose I could just trim that down if I needed to. And see how the rest of them work out. Fold that over. Yeah, I've got a little bit of an edge on each side. I'm okay with that. You may want to slightly alter it. Maybe it wasn't quite lined up in the center, but we did center it in alignment. I don't think I changed anything since then. I'm okay with that. Handmade doesn't always have to be perfect. I mean, I strive for perfection, but I'm all right with this looking the way that it is. And look at that. My chips are upside down. I must have positioned this one the wrong way too. It's all right, I'm going to decorate up the front anyway, so I don't think that's going to be too noticeable. And last one. Okay, so now I'm just going to double check, make sure our cards fit in there, and they do. Looks great. And now I'm going to get all of my stamping done on my cards. Since I'm doing all of these the same, it's going to be the easiest to use my Misty. And I'm going to place this down right in the corner. And then I can line up my stamp. Actually, I may line that up first and then slide that into the corner just to make sure I've got a nice, fairly even edge all the way around. Looks pretty good. I'm going to slide that down here. Just double check that. Okay, I'll pick that up. And then I'm going to stamp these out using a black ink. And I think I'll just pull in my Close to My Heart Intense Black ink. that down. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and add in all of my little cards here. Okay, so as I'm finishing things up here, getting all of these cards placed into their pockets, I'm looking at the time and I realize we have hit the 30-minute mark. I try not to go too much longer than that on videos for you guys, just because I know it's hard to refer back to things. I am going to go ahead and decorate up the front of all of these, and I will do a second or part 2 video for you showing all of that. I think that's probably going to work out better anyways. That way you can refer back to whichever one you're looking for at the moment. So here is a good look at all of these finished pockets. I will have my blog post listed below, which will have some still shots of all of them. I will also have linked below the project file, and fingers crossed it will work this time. And those of you with a Cricut who would like to use this file will be able to open that and cut your own. If you do use the file, please leave me a comment and let me know how it worked out for you, or tag me on Instagram and let me see the project that you came up with. I love seeing what you guys put together. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below and I will do my best to answer them for you. As always, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.